When you see the name David A. Pryor, you know you're in for a treat. Killer Workout's a 1987 horror film from director David A. Pryor. The movie opens with, Aerobicide, the alternate title.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassenvamp Incorporated.
Anyway, the movie opens with a girl named Valerie listening to her answering machine messages. She gets a call from her agent telling her she got a modeling job for Cosmo. This makes her feet very happy. She rushes out to an all-night tanning salon for some tastefully done nudity. She gets in the tanning bed, and how did people do this? It's like climbing into a light-up coffin. Something goes wrong, and Valerie gets baked. Ah, smoked model. Delicious. We cut to Rhonda's gym, where things go full-blown 80s. My goodness! The ladies are doing their aerobics to the first of many really good songs on the soundtrack. This just went from kind of gratuitous to incredibly gratuitous. Okay, who let Chad in for jazzercise? Jamie pulls up, and how much were fitness instructors making in 1986? Hehe, I like the ladies. Good for you, ma'am, you'll get there. All I can think of while watching this is there's a good chance that at least some of these women are now grandmothers. Jamie gets stopped by Tommy.
What?
What's the zipper for, baby?
Part of me thinks he's just an idiot and really doesn't know. I want to look like a sexy bee! The workout's over and Rhonda gets bothered by Jimmy. She turns him down, and does this make you mad? Mad enough to kill Jimmy? Jamie gets to work, but she's late and missed her class. Rhonda is upset. She's apparently paying you 6 figures to teach aerobics. The least you could do is get there on time. Class is over, so nudity. Wait a minute, I recognize her! That's Smeg's girl from Surf Nazis Must Die. No, really! The girl's taking one of those 5-hour showers and gets killed by someone with a giant safety pin. Points of originality. Jamie goes into the men's locker room and gets busted sniffing jock straps. Oh, you silly goose. This outfit looks like Rob Liefeld drew it. Jamie goes to the women's locker room to find fake scare, and now real scare. The paramedics take the body, and Lieutenant Morgan steps in to investigate. Doesn't anyone use locks on these lockers? He goes to talk to the girls about the murder.
She was so pretty.
Not anymore.
Damn! Why is there a box of Russell Stover's chocolate on the wall? The next day, a girl was brutally murdered and they don't even close for 1 day? Some of the guys are talking about the murder. For the ladies. Well, at least they seem to be balancing it out for everyone. Come on, ladies, do the reverse cowgirl. Okay, now do the Catherine Zeta-Jones move from Entrapment. Rhonda seems upset by this. Is she jealous?
Look, just teach the class to stop showing off your tits and tight little ass. Got it?
Isn't that the whole point of aerobics? Rhonda goes to her office to find Chuck looking through her files.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dawson.
Hi, I'm the director's brother. Chuck tells Rhonda a senior partner that owns the gym sent him there to work.
This is from your senior partner, Mr. Erickson?
I think you'll see everything you need on this blank piece of paper. Is he using a Jedi mind trick? Without any choices, she sends him to work. Chuck's taking out the trash and runs into, what was his name? Biff? Tommy? Or was it Jimmy? Jimmy tries to punch him, but Chuck lets him have it. This excites Debbie so much, she offers him a ride. Isn't he supposed to be working? My God, he barely fits in the car. They go back to her place for some cool, refreshing Diet Pepsi. That's 2 movies now. I hope Pryor got some Pepsi bucks. Debbie tells Chuck she used to date Jimmy. Debbie goes inside to change, and the music drops an octave. He calls his boss to tell him he's looking into the murder. Chuck tries to leave, but Debbie convinces him to stay.
Well, I think you got a lot to do right here.
Is that right?
That's right.
Back at Rhonda's, Jimmy's still being a creep. Diane's trying to hit on him, but he's not interested. The lieutenant calls in the station and is being the consummate professional.
You get over to the lab and tell that college boy. If he doesn't have that report in 30 minutes, I'm gonna come over there and do an autopsy on his face.
Inside Diane's home, she's relaxing with some strobe lights. Oh, it's just some film damage.
Did I get any messages? None at all.
Aww! Poor gal. The lieutenant's trying to get into Diane's place.
Open up! Open the door!
Normally I'm against this, but in his case, I think he could do with a little sensitivity training. Diane hides inside and gets murdered by the safety pin bandit. The lieutenant rushes in and the killer jumps out the window. Okay, he leaps out a second-story window, lands on concrete, and gets away. Was this guy a Terminator? Back at the killer's place, they're washing off the murder weapon, and uh-oh, a wig. Rhonda's at the gym cleaning up, and it's Jimmy again. She pushes him off, which makes Jimmy mad again. Some vandals are spray painting the gym. Death spa, that's not for another 3 years. Who writes a robicide? The guy runs away and gets killed. They even make hair that big anymore? The other girl gets killed as well. The third girl's Debbie. She finds Curtis and runs off to her car. Well, at least the killer can't hide in her back seat. The killer's not using the pin anymore. After a few dozen stabs, the killer gets Debbie. Boo! More aerobics. This guy's working out. When some equipment fails, then he gets killed. Well, gotta mop up more blood. This guy finds him and then also gets killed. The killer's back to the pin. Somehow, Chuck doesn't seem to hear two people being murdered in the other room. He's too busy trying to break into the one locker that uses an actual lock. Tommy finds the bodies, and Jamie sees him, so she thinks he's the killer. Chuck springs into action.
Wait, I didn't do it!
I'm sorry, what'd you say? The lieutenant arrives, and the paramedics take away the bodies. The lieutenant thinks Chuck's lying and has something to do with the killings. Tony's in the locker room with a nasty bash to the head, and he's having a fantasy about Jamie. A boob-free fantasy, that is. Oh, wait, never mind. That was a surprise. Things seem to be going okay, then Tommy sees evil Tommy kill Jamie and then himself. The lieutenant wakes Tommy up. So instead of taking him to the hospital to check if he has a concussion, they let him sleep it off? The lieutenant leaves and the safety pin killer returns. I just send the paramedics back in. Yep, more of this. I'm not complaining, mind you. Wait, this is going on while they're moving Tommy's body out? How many people have to get murdered here before they close? Chuck goes to investigate Jimmy's house. I hope that's not supposed to be a disguise. He finds Jimmy's creepy stalker wall and arsenal of weapons. So obviously, he's the red herring. Chuck goes to check on Rhonda, but gets attacked by Jimmy. The two fight it out in music that sounds like it's from the Sega Genesis library. Jimmy gets the upper hand, and there is no way he isn't going into the pool. He's even doing the Mortal Kombat stunned animation.
Finish him!
Chuck wakes up to see the lieutenant and Rhonda. The lieutenant tells Chuck he knows he's a private investigator.
Charlie Dawson, private investigator. You know, I knew there was something about you. The Simpson case, wasn't it?
OJ? Chuck tells them he thinks Jimmy's the killer. Jamie's closing up and then she kills herself? This girl finds her and then she gets killed? Cop they left to guard this place sure is doing a bang-up job. We're now in double digits of people that have been murdered here. Can we please close this place until they find the killer? No, huh? Chuck's off the case, so he's going home. Well, looks like Chuck's out. Meanwhile, Deadpool's putting on a wig. It's Rhonda! The lieutenant's there to tell her he knows that she's Valerie, the girl from the beginning. He tells her that he thinks she's the killer.
What do you want, Morgan? What? Look, is this what you wanted to see?
That is so messed up she gave him Forrest Whitaker eye. How did her face and hands not get burned? So he arrests her. He gets a message that Jimmy killed Chuck, so he lets Rhonda go. The lieutenant goes to get Jimmy. Is he the only field cop on the force? He catches him and tells him he knows that Rhonda's the killer. Jimmy's obsessed with her, so he's trying to take the blame. Jimmy knocks him out and gets away. He finds her in the gym, and she shoots him. Seems he still loved her, even all burned up. The next day, the lieutenant takes Rhonda out to the middle of nowhere. He tells her he knows that she's the killer, but most likely he'll get away with it, so he's gonna stop her. He's talking for too long, so Rhonda knocks him out. Now that everyone thinks that she's the hero, enrollment at the gym is up. Uh-oh! Aren't they gonna figure out that she's the killer once people start dying again? Only one way to end this out. A lot of these people were killed. Does this mean they're all doing aerobics in the afterlife? This was yet another wonderful movie from the late, great David A. Pryor. Pryor's brother Ted was Chuck. He started casting him in his movies all the way back to his very first, the shot-on-video horror film Sledgehammer. Ted starred in numerous Pryor films, including two of the most popular, Deadly Prey and Deadliest Prey. Diane Copeland played Debbie. This was the first time she worked with Pryor and her first movie. Later that year, she was the memorable Smegs girl in Surf Nazis Must Die, and then Pryor cast her again in a small role as one of the kidnapped girls in Man Killers. Ted Pryor was also in Surf Nazis Must Die. Shortly after that, she decided acting wasn't her thing and moved to work in the music industry. In 1999, she married Mixmaster Mike, a turntablist who frequently worked with the Beastie Boys. She now heads Copeland Entertainment, an artist-centered boutique booking agency and management company. David Campbell, who played Lieutenant Morgan, was also a Pryor regular. He was in Killzone, Deadly Prey, Deadliest Prey, and lots of others. Fritz Matthews, who played Jimmy, designed the exploding tanning bed for the beginning of the movie. Marcia Carr played Rhonda. She's been in a string of women in prison films, and was Hardbody on the Stairs in Hard Bodies. The movie was released as Killer Workout in the US, and the distributor changed it to Aerobicide for the international version. Killer Workout is another awesome David A. Pryor movie. His stuff is so cheesy, but it's also charming, and dare I say it, inventive. The music in the film is also incredibly catchy. His films all fall right in my wheelhouse. Horror, action, or sci-fi. I just wish he did some more horror films. While his action films are often his most recognized, his horror films are just as much fun. This is one of the most 80s horror films out there.
Now don't you go anywhere. I'll be right back.